in quant, I felt there were many questions that I had done before. Like there was this particular question on weighted average that was very similar to Sandeep Sir's question, and I was like, I ye to meko aata hai." So I was many questions were there that I knew how to solve them. And in quant, I actually got one question wrong. I used to study like 6 to 7 hours a day normally in the last 2 months that I gave my test. But in the last week, I really pulled up my socks and I was like, I don't need a break at all. Even while eating the food, I used to watch the top 1%'s, the YouTube channel only that people are telling their experiences, and that used to motivate me कि चलो इनका हो गया मेरा भी हो ही जाएगा. You can't just always every day you can't just study like 6 to 7 hours a day, and even if you have to go out the whole day, you are getting tired. Even if you have to work, what I suggest is study at least 1 hour, because in that way you just have still have a touch left with the GMAT studies. And even if you lose touch for a single day, the other day when you start studying back again, your mind is not working at that moment. You have to just keep in touch with it.
Thank you so much for joining in, Ishita. First of all, big congratulations on
Thank
your
you. Thank you so much.
GMAT score is GMAT 735. So
Yeah.
big congratulations. 100th percentile here, right? And
Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
just go through the entire score. Quant 100th percentile. Brilliant. It looks like you've got none of the questions, all of the questions right, in fact. Verbal 94th percentile and data insight 97th percentile.
Yeah.
Right. So brilliant score. Again, we are extremely proud of you. Now let's just go and dive a little deeper into how did this all happen for you. Let's just go back in time. When it all started, can you just give us a little brief about yourself, about how did you look at the entire MBA journey for yourself, and how did you come across Sandeep Gupta and Top 1%?
Yeah. So I have actually done my economic honors from Delhi University, and it was always in my parents' plan to make me like do MBA only. So it was like they always had planned it कि GMAT ही करना है. So I actually started preparing for it, and I took 2, 3 other coaching centers as well
Okay.
previously.
Okay.
But I noticed that everybody was only teaching the basics of it. And I was very confused because I wasn't getting any of the scores. Like I was getting a good 600 or something, but in the classic edition. And I was still confused because I wanted a 700 plus, at least in the classic. So I was worried, very worried that how can I manage it, because they are teaching only the basics part of it. But then my brother was also preparing for GMAT only. So he suggested me that top 1% is the best you can find. So I actually thought that I would give it a try. I would just like, so I have spent already so much on preparing for other coaching centers as well. So I'll give it a try. And then I took top 1%, and I was very pleased to notice that they are actually teaching you questions only that are over 700 level.
Correct.
So preparing for GMAT requires that kind of practice, like basic questions you can't just solve. So that's what made me choose top 1%.
Right.
And yeah, so
So probably by the time when you had taken up a demo, I think when Priyansha had assisted you, right?
yes, yes.
You would have definitely seen a difference in the way Sir was teaching. What really struck you at the very beginning itself? Would you like to highlight?
Yeah, so I noticed that other teachers, like the previous coaching centers, also they were very, calming and very cordial. But Sandeep sir honestly was very ऐसे, harsh at the first instance, and I was like, I needed that. I needed that push to मतलब, even if in a simple question I'm making a silly mistake, and he's like, if you're making such kind of mistakes, then you can't do GMAT.
Mm.
So that kind of push, that kind of bluntness is what I think really pushed me, that I really need to pull up my socks and get at it. So yeah, that was the first thing that I noticed.
See, given that you've come from economics and I would have, again, it's a guess, right? Verbal would have been a strength. Was it always the case that verbal was your strength and quant
Not at all.
was also your strength? Because quant definitely seems like your strength here, but was it always the case that quant you had to work on quant, or quant was an easy breezy for you?
Even in the classic edition when I was practicing last year, I got a very good score in in quant in the first go only, like the diagnostic test also that I gave. The maths was not at all a problem for me, but the verbal part was very much difficult for me. Like especially the kind of RC passages that I was facing, I was very frustrated that this is not the English that I know of. This is very
Right.
much like thinking based English. So yeah, English was not at all easy for me. I had to, even if I tell you now, I practiced at least like 600 to 700 RC passages only.
Oh
Like
my
I
God.
practiced a lot RC because I was still, after practicing so much also, I was still seeing that I am not getting any score. So I focused on it that I have to practice more and more. So I just kept on practicing. I took questions from all over, like GMAT club, all the questions that Sandeep sir gave, that was so obviously there. And other than that, GMAT club and LSAT questions, I practiced a lot. So many questions I practiced. Then only I think that was a part where I felt that I'm better at RC than from where I started. So I decided to just give it a go and just get over with it.
That speaks of the score that you got, 100 percentile today, really speaks of the amount of practice you would have done. And
Practice I
600,
did.
700 for RC alone just speaks the volume. I mean, this kind of practice is definitely needed. So someone says that, well, I've done
Yes.
everything, but not
Hmm.
practice enough question and you're stuck in verbal, here you go, right? So,
Yeah.
in through your entire preparation, you said RC was a definite struggle area. How was it with CR? How was it with quant? And more importantly, the new section that which is not new anymore. It's
Yeah.
been almost a year since the exam started, but how was data insights for you overall?
Okay, so for the CR part of it, CR I enjoyed doing at least similar questions like assumption questions, for example. Basically, there is a method that Sandeep sir gives you that you need to follow this method to understand to make you yourself think in a particular way. So CR was still doable. RC was very tough once again, but RC was very tough for me. DI also, I think the practice that Sandeep sir provides, the amount of practice he provides in the portal itself. There are so many tests based on DI. I
Correct.
think that is more than enough. Didn't touch any DI from any other platform. This was just enough for me. That I had practiced so many questions from so many different tests that I was like, I can do it now.
Right.
So that was also easier because there is a lot of practice on the portal. So I enjoyed doing that.
Something very interesting that you touched base is that your parents were very supportive through the entire preparation. They were also looking at wanting you to. So in through your preparation, was there any challenges that you faced? Ki, yaar, I want to take a break, or work was demanding because you graduated last year also. So any work
Yeah.
situation was demanding, or anything else that kind of kept you distracted, or were you at it from the day one that you took the self-paced course?
Yeah, I was not working at the time because my parents were very stuck that you have to do GMAT. And in my personal opinion, like people might have another opinion, but in my personal opinion, GMAT requires a lot of practice. You just can't, it's okay, people do it with work also, but the level of practice that you need for GMAT, it's better that you don't work at that time, considering
Right.
you are studying. I used to study at least in the last week, I was studying 14 to 15 hours a day. So
Right.
that's the amount of practice that I needed for myself, at least in my opinion. So I couldn't do it without work, with work. Other than that, I was actually very ready to give the GMAT in August as well. And then there was some family issue. My dog passed away, and then a lot of things were happening. So I got to do no study for like at least 2 weeks. And
Right.
GMAT, even a day's break is very bad. You can't just take a day break also because you'll forget everything. Then the other day, then you'll have to see his starting. Say you have to start. So that 2 weeks just messed up me really bad. So I had to start again, all over again. And then I took an oath to myself that now this is the last time I'm touching GMAT. I have to get over with it. I can't just keep on taking breaks and then starting all over again. So I just took it, and in 2 months, I guess 2 months, I studied continuously without even a day's work. Like no Sunday, no Monday. I didn't see what day it is. I was just studying and studying. So that's the plan. But I took it that in that way only, that I have to get over with it now.
Right. So apart
I
from
think
the oath,
until a person, yeah,
that you've taken to yourself, was there any other source of motivation? Because you've taken self-paced course, the journey can be really longer and lonely also sometimes.
Mhm.
Sometimes Sandeep is not there to, beat that, bring that discipline also. So what are the
Yeah.
other source of motivation? Maybe your brother, maybe any other friends or parents kept at it, telling you that, chalo abhi padho beta.
नहीं नहीं that is not an issue for me. मतलब
Right.
I yeah, it has already been a year, so I
Yeah.
had my fair share of fun as well. But
Right.
in the end, it was me only. Like nobody else was forcing me कि तुम जल्दी ही दो. It was me
Right.
only. I only had that kind of voice inside me कि
Perfect.
बस अब यार अब खत्म. So that when I started feeling that in myself that I have to do it at any cost, then I was able to do it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great amount of motivation. It really takes a lot of courage and self-motivation. So,
Yeah.
on the or during like just a day before the test or a week before the test, what kind of preparation were you doing in terms of the mock test, or were you relaxed a bit? So, How was the entire week looking like just before the run to the final exam?
Okay, so it was no, I wasn't relaxed at all. I used to study like 6 to 7 hours a day, normally in the last 2 months that I gave my test. But in the last week, I really pulled up my socks and I was like, I don't need a break at all. Even while eating the food, I used to watch the top one person's, the YouTube channel only that people are telling their experiences, and that used to motivate me कि चलो इनका हो गया मेरा भी हो ही जाएगा. So I even while eating food, used to watch that only. So I had it in my mind that I don't need to take any breaks right now. It's just 1 week left and get over with it. So in the last week, I used to study like 14 to 15 hours a day. And that was very exhausting. But I took up a lot of tests. Like in the last week at least, I only used the portal. I was not watching any videos, not practicing any questions. I would just use the portal, the all the amount of tests, like the long sitting passage, long sitting CR long sittings, or RC long sittings. I was already doing all those tests, like one after other. The one test is over, now the other test. I was just doing the tests. And then mock tests also, I think I took in the last week. Two mock tests I took, and I was not happy with my score at all. In one of the tests, I got 535. And I was like, I have a test, the final test in like 3 4 days, and I'm getting a 535. But I didn't let it demotivate me. I was like, हो जाएगा, कोई बात नहीं, हो जाएगा. उसके
Because
बाद
the
then
previous
I
mocks really showed a little better. मतलब पहले के
yeah
mocks अच्छे
yeah
आए थे.
Yeah, I got 705 in one of the mocks previously. So I got a little motivated that it's okay. And then after the 535, I took another test the next day only. And then in that test, I got 675. So that also made me ki chalo, theek hai, 675 is still better than 535 at least.
So what happened when you looked at that score? Did you analyze a little bit before you took the next test?
Yeah,
So what
I
kind of
did analyze
analysis
it.
you did? Yeah.
Okay, so honestly telling, I noticed that in that particular tests, all the questions were difficult. Like in some of the tests, there are half of the questions difficult, half are easier, or in some tests, all are easier. In that particular test, every question, I was like stuck at every question, and I didn't know like. So I thought that was also necessary because maybe that kind of test is something to push up people. कि अब बहुत हो गया, थोड़ा और focus करो. So I think that also motivated me that 535 is very low. I need to pull up now.
Perfect, perfect. So what happened on the exam day? What section did you take first and why did you choose that section? And did you get stuck at any question? Was any question difficult or suddenly you're stumped by it?
Okay. I actually took the day of the test. Like in this morning, I was very stressed because I have heard from so many people that in the first attempt, GMAT is very difficult, considering that you get very hypered and very stressed out at that place. So I was already stressed that I'm going to get stressed. So that only made me stressed, and I was like, yeah, first attempt, I have to do it. I can't do it, start doing it over and over again. So it was stressful beforehand, but when I reached there, when I entered, and they were like checking and all, then I was like, hey, so what people were telling me that it would be very stressful, it isn't actually that stressful. It's normal. It's fine. So I calmed a little bit. And then the section that I took first was quant because I know that my quant is good. So when I do it, I get motivated. If I do verbal first, I'll get demotivated in the starting only.
Okay.
So I took quant first so that I know that हाँ चलो एक section अच्छा चला गया. So I'll be happy. So I took quant first and then I took a break. And because I needed to clear my mind before I do verbal, and then I took verbal and then DIS right after it. In quant, I felt there were many questions that I had done before. Like there was this particular question on weighted average that was very similar to Sandeep Sir's question, and I was like, I ये तो मेरे को आता है. So
Oh,
I was many questions were there that I knew how to solve them. And in quant, I actually got one question wrong. I don't remember which section is it, but I did get one question wrong. But others were fine. I mostly knew everything, and I also had like 10 to 11 minutes, I guess, left at the end. So I had time to review my questions, and I changed two of the questions from incorrect to correct. So thankfully, I had that time. Yeah. So quant was easier, and then I was happy. So I got motivated for verbal also. For the verbal part, which a thing that really icked me off was that the RC passages were fine, but the CR questions were also very long. All of them were wrong. There was not even a single question that was just like 1 or 2 lines. They were all very lambe passages, and I was like I got really कि यार ये क्या हो रहा है? But then I kept on doing it. I just didn't let myself feel कि these are the difficult questions, yeah, whatever. I just thought कि अब करते रहो, सोचना ही नहीं अब. So
right.
I just did it. It was fine, but it wasn't that stressful. But the DI part, DI was very stressful for me. Like I thought that I would be happy in DI and I would do it easily. But I don't know. Yeah, the questions were very difficult that were coming. I just got a little sad during that part कि नहीं हो पाएगा. But then when I saw my score, I was like, chalo, theek hai, I did it good only. But
Right.
I was just getting stressed out because in DI you never know which answer is, you know that which answer is correct, but sometimes you have that feeling that maybe this is not correct. So I was always confused when I was submitting the question that maybe this might be wrong, but I feel that I am getting this answer only, but I might be wrong. So that was the
There
feeling
was
that I got
always
in
an
DI.
ambiguity there. And
Yeah, always an
besides, there
ambiguity.
were, it's just not one answer, right? आपके पास तीन options
Exactly.
हैं, you, as in three right options to choose or two right
Yeah.
options to choose. You have more than one
Yeah.
right option to choose in each of these
Yeah.
questions. So, बहुत ही, I mean, it's very natural that you'll be in an ambiguity situation. DI
Yeah.
is something that, still people are looking to crack it, like crack a
Yeah.
100%, but here you are, your fantastic score. So, and you got this right in the very first attempt. Thank God
Yeah.
for it. Abhi to
Thank
ho
God.
gaya, abhi relax. So, what is your
Yeah.
next plan? So, obviously, once you saw that score, how did you feel? That moment, how did you feel? Or were you like, pehle, I don't know if I saw the score right. What was your feeling?
Exactly. Oh my God. That's the exact thing that happened with me. I just saw the score and I think I got shocked. Yeah, I didn't see it right. I just took my hand up and the person came and they took me out and I was like, after I went out, my parents were standing there waiting for me and they were like, kya hua, kya hua? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what the score is. I think it is 735 or something, but I might be wrong because I was too shocked considering my DI went bad for me. So after that, the quant was very good. So I know that I quant and verbal was fine. But DI, but the last section was DI only, so I wasn't expecting such a good score, ekdam se. So I was like very shocked, and my parents were asking, "But hua kya? Is it 735 only?" And I'm like, I am really not sure right now. Let's just wait for the mail to come and let's see. And I was like hoping ki please 735 hi ho. And yeah, then I got the mail like around 5 o'clock in the night, and I was too stressed that even the a little notification sound just woke me up to check my mail. I was very stressed. So yeah, it was 7:35 only, and I just took a breath. Yeah, everything is
Yeah,
fine now.
you did mention it in the email as well, and we were so overjoyed. Sandeep sir was extremely very happy. So,
Yeah.
given that, how did the faculty support come out for you in terms of answering any questions, doubts? How would you, give a feedback on that?
Yeah, the one thing that I really enjoyed about top 1% was that the doubt faculty, like the doubt clearing part was it very quick, very quick. Like I got to know it in the orientation part also that you will get the reply in like 24 hours. But 24 hours, I still thought that if I'm sending a question right now and it's like 10 p.m. or even like I used to study a lot at night. Because that's when I feel the most awake. So in the night part, I was sending a question at like 12:30 or 1 o'clock, and I got a reply at 2 a.m. And I was like really shocked that I just sent a question. Who is there waiting to send a message at email even at 2 a.m.? So I was really shocked, and I really was happy with that kind of a service because even at like 2 a.m., because I am doing a question right now, in the morning, even I would forget a little part of the question, but I'm getting the answer right now. So I am able to quickly solve it and quickly understand the part of it where I'm getting wrong. That was really nice. Like I'm getting very quick replies on the mail as well.
Perfect, perfect. That's one of the reason why I think you mentioned specifically few of the faculty member. It's a little win for them as well when the score
Yes,
comes.
yeah.
It's like it feels like a big win altogether as a family. It's including I think extended by with your parents as well. So how was their
Yes.
reaction when
They were overjoyed, extremely overjoyed. Like they couldn't also believe because the day before, matlab 2 3 days ago only, I was crying that I got a 535 and I have an exam in few days. So even they were expecting like a 695 or a 700, something similar to that. But 735, when I told them, they were very overjoyed, overjoyed.
100% I'll be besides
Yeah,
that
100%.
jump,
Exactly.
that really is a
Yeah,
shining thing out there.
yeah,
But wonderful, wonderful. So I think everything that you did was something that Sudeep always tells as a student when you what you must do when you start his course as a part of orientation. Sabhi jagah bolte rehte ki, you have to spend so many hours. But what is
yeah.
the couple of things that you would say are the must do's and don'ts that probably you have never given up on?
Okay, I think that there might be some days, even for me there were, and for others also, you can't just always every day you can't just study like 6 to 7 hours a day. And even if you have to go out the whole day, you are getting tired, yeah, even if you have to work, what I suggest is study at least 1 hour because in that way you just have still have a touch left with the GMAT studies. And even if you lose touch for a single day, the other day then you start when you start studying back again, your mind is not working at that moment. You have to just keep in touch with it, even just for 1 hour, like 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever you can give after the tiring day. Just give it an hour, and just even if you're not in the mood to study, just push yourself to study. Like do some easier questions only. Just do some easier questions, but just stay in touch. Like at least every day, stay in touch. So the last 2 months, I don't think so. I took a break even for a single day. Even if I had to take a break, I wanted to go out with my friends. I went out, I came back, and the whole night I used to study, like five hours, or like at least 2 3 hours. So I used to study कि चलो अब enjoy कर लिया. Now I have to study also. I can't just leave it कि आज छोड़ो. वो नहीं कर सकते
Very
GMAT के लिए. So
important to have the momentum going. Like
yeah,
otherwise
yeah,
you really tune off.
yeah. Even if you take like 2 3 days off, then getting back in touch with it is also, it gets very frustrating that you don't even know, you can't even understand what they're saying. So you have to keep in touch.
True, true, true. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, so for sharing all of these things, all of
Thank
entire
you so much
journey,
for having
like
me.
such a candid conversation. Now, what next
Yeah.
for you, Ishita? Where are you looking to apply? Are you going to give some time, or how is it? What is your plan?
I am planning to give it some time for now. It's just been a year only for me to graduate it. I want to work a little for before and I apply, and then I'll see. I want to get in apply to even ISD or even foreign also, abroad also. But I'll think of it. I'll give it some
Now
time right now.
you have all the time. You just need to
Yeah.
have a very good application, focus on your work, focus on
Yes.
what really makes the application worth it. But
Yeah.
truly, truly, big congratulations to you, to your parents for
Thank you.
supporting you and your family. And we
Yeah.
at Top 1% are extremely humbled that you chose Sandeep Sir as your training partner after a lot of heartbreaks, let's say,
Yeah. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
terms of preparation. But thank you again, sir. Is extremely
Thank
proud. We are
you.
very proud, and thank you so much for joining in and sharing this.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a
All the
pleasure
very best.
learning
Yeah,
from
take
Sandeep
it.
sir.
And please let us know whenever it is, whenever you have the
Yes,
admit.
definitely.
Obviously, we have an admission consultant as well. Just a
Yes,
small
yes,
check
I do know that.
anytime, maybe next year, you would like to just speak to him.
Yeah.
We're always welcome. And he keeps doing a lot of admission sessions. There's one
Yes, yes, I see that.
the next 2 weeks also. 2 हफ्ते में है एक और. So
Mm-hmm.
just attend some of the sessions just to get an
All
insight.
right.
है ना?
Yeah, all right,
All right.
definitely.
Okay, Shita. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you so much.
Good
Thank
evening.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.